What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. Sylvan is back. Right now, we should party like it's 2005. We should play that weird techno music that it used to come out to. Sylvan is back. That's it. Now, as a matter of fact, this is my favorite Royal Rumble pay-per-view. I might have said 2007 is my favorite or something like that, but once I watched this, I just loved it. Like, it was so fun. There was something special about this one. WWE built up several stars during this pay-per-view. I'll get to that soon. Now, let's just talk about the commercial for the pay-per-view. There's gonna be some trouble tonight. A very Royal Rumble, that's right. Man, what an awesome commercial that was. Right now, let's talk about WWE in 2005. WWE in 2005 was, in my opinion, much better than 2003 and 2004. It felt like there was direction in both brands, and they knew where they were going, and they didn't have any major departures that year up until August. I do think the death of Eddie Guerrero hurt the SmackDown roster. I mean, it hurt everyone in general. 2005 was also the year where they finally made some stars. They made stars like Batista, John Cena, Edge, Rey Mysterio, and Randy Orton. Orton was damaged from the Triple H feud, but that was fixed once he turned heel. I do think RVD would have been a part of that group, but he got injured a few days before the Rumble. Right now, let's get into it. Royal Rumble 2005 was held in the Save Mart Center in Fresno, California on January 30th, 2005. The Save Mart Center at Fresno State had an attendance of 12,000. Royal Rumble 2005 had a buy rate of 575,000, which was an improvement from 2004's 500,000. Looking at the buy rates for the pay-per-views in 2005, they were much higher than 2004's. As a matter of fact, only one pay-per-view in 2004 drew better than its 2005 version, and that was No Way Out. So, 2005 was a good year for WWE. The theme song for the Royal Rumble was Find the Real by Alter Bridge, you know, the band that made Edge's music. With that said, let's get into the event. The first match was between Edge and Shawn Michaels. I'll give you a summary as to how these two got to this point. When Edge returned in March of 2004, it felt like he lost some of his luster. The fans didn't connect with him like they did in 2002. He did have some great matches against Randy Orton, but the fans didn't like him, and he was even booed in his hometown of Toronto at SummerSlam. That is clearly a sign that you should change if your damn hometown boos you. Anyways, Edge suffered another injury and he was forced to relinquish the IC title. Once Edge returned, he decided to set his sights on the World Heavyweight Championship. After losing a poll on WWE.com that was to decide who faces Triple H at Taboo Tuesday, Edge teamed up with Chris Benoit to face La Resistance. Despite leaving his partner high and dry, Benoit beat La Resistance, which meant that Edge was a tag team champion. Edge later that night returned and cost Shawn Michaels the title. Edge then cemented his heel turn by costing himself and Benoit the tag titles. Then after the match, Edge locked Benoit on the Crippler Crossface, and from there, Edge became so obsessed with the World Heavyweight Championship. He was such a raging lunatic. He was going crazy. He just wanted the damn title. Edge at one point technically won the title, but it wasn't official. Edge would participate in the Elimination Chamber at New Year's Revolution. Shawn Michaels, the special referee, would cost Edge the title after hitting the Sweet Chin Music on him. Michaels did that because Edge accidentally speared him and he slapped him. The next night on Raw, the two confronted one another and they ended up brawling after Edge slapped HBK. They brawled all over the arena and they had to be restrained from one another by officials. The following week, Edge attacked Shawn Michaels after his match with Christian, and the match was set for the Royal Rumble. These two were set to do double duty that night as they were in the Royal Rumble match. This match started off a bit slow. I thought I liked the wrong match at one point, because when the match began, I thought it was going to be some kind of epic match, but thankfully though, they changed the pace later on, and it was good. The match in the first half had a lot of holds, and I didn't like them because they slowed down the match. But once Edge attempted a crossbody on HBK, the pace picked up, and from there it was an entertaining match. At one point, Edge thought he couldn't beat HBK and he left the ring. Michaels went after him and he delivered some chops. The ref then restrained HBK, which led to Edge hitting the spear on Michaels on the outside. Both men entered the ring and Edge teased the spear, which he successfully hit. Michaels kicked out and Edge went nuts. He pulled some of his damn hair out. Edge was in disbelief. HBK then made a comeback and he hit the flying elbow, but he couldn't cover Edge due to his back being damaged. Michaels, however, recovered and he tuned up the band, but to no avail as Edge performed the electric chair on him. That wasn't enough for the victory, and Edge several seconds later applied a modified sharpshooter. I recall Edge won the match with the submission hold, but I was shocked to see that he didn't, because I feel like I remember he made Shawn Michaels tap out. That wasn't the case. Michaels reached the ropes and both men rolled up each other. Edge, however, used the ropes for leverage and he won the match. Overall, it was a good match. If it wasn't for the first half of the match, this could have been a classic. Nonetheless, it was a good way to open the pay-per-view. Backstage, we see both brands as general managers and tour Torrie Wilson and Christy Hemme. Eric Bischoff said that if a SmackDown superstar won the Rumble, then they'll jump ship just like the previous year. Eddie Guerrero and Ric Flair entered the room to select a ball for the Royal Rumble. Rick was first and he got a great number while Eddie was in despair. Rick was celebrating and all, and then Eddie congratulated him. Eddie hugged him, and Rick then showed his number to everyone else, only to find a different number from what he originally got. The Nature Boy then shouted for Eddie, and he left the room looking for him. We then find Heidenreich breathing heavily, and he's saying that he's afraid of caskets. Snitsky then randomly came up to him, and he told him that he likes him, and then Snitsky told Heidenreich that he has an idea. They didn't say what kind of idea, but this was one awkward segment. What's up? The second match was a casket match between The Undertaker and Heidenreich. Okay, you most likely didn't like this one, but I've got to talk about it. This feud began at No Mercy when Heidenreich cost The Undertaker the WWE Championship. He rammed a vehicle into a hearse The Undertaker was in. The two faced off at Survivor Series, and the Dead Man won that match, and it looked like the feud was over. But then a month later, Heidenreich randomly interfered in Undertaker's title match at Armageddon. He cost him the title once again. The two were set to face off at the Royal Rumble, but this time though, Theodore Long allowed The Undertaker to choose what stipulation is for the match. He chose a casket match. Heidenreich said that he has a phobia of caskets, so that is why The Undertaker chose this match. Now, about the match itself, it wasn't as horrendous as I thought it would be, but it was bad. I mean, one thing is for sure, it's better than Undertaker versus Goldberg. That match was absolute trash. I didn't like the match, but my favorite part of it was when Kane suddenly came out of the casket to save his brother from a Snitsky and Heidenreich attack. I would have preferred it happened in the end, but at least it happened, because if it didn't, then I disliked this match much more. The Undertaker won this match after hitting the chokeslam and the tombstone. He then kicked Heidenreich in to win the match. Overall, you could watch the match, but don't expect much. I go into many matches expecting nothing, and I don't get disappointed, although some matches like this were annoying because the build-up made this match seem like it was must-see. That's for another time. For right now, let's focus on Eddie Guerrero. We find Theodore Long asking Eddie to give Ric Flair his number back. Eddie did give back the number, but then Theodore Long realized that Eddie took something else too. Teddy put his hand out and Eddie greeted him, but Teddy wasn't having it. Eddie then gave Teddy Long Ric Flair's wallet, who then gave it back to him. Rick shouted and tried to get to Eddie, but Long pulled him away. Evolution then had an argument after Batista wanted to get his number. Triple H wanted to talk about his match with Orton, and they had an intense stare down. They patched things up quickly, and that's it. Then we find Christian begging for Eric Bischoff to say when a superstar enters the Rumble. He's asking for Ray, he's probably asking for someone else. He's just begging to know when someone's entering the Rumble. Christian picked up a ball, and it looked like an excellent number. Meanwhile, John Cena was greeting everyone. Christian then said that he's seen Cena's rap career and that it doesn't impress him. He then challenged Cena to a rap battle. Christian had this goofy rap where he rhymed Transylvania with WrestleMania. Cena then said that he learned to rap from A Mile, and then he said that Christian could pick his number for him because he likes playing with balls. Christian wasn't having it, he was pissed. The next match was for the WWE Championship. JBL defended the gold in a triple threat match against both Kurt Angle and The Big Show. This one was originally going to be between JBL and Angle, but somehow Big Show got involved. This was around the time period where Big Show used the F5 as a signature move. He didn't use it for much longer, and I'm still confused as to why he used it. Did WWE hate Lesnar for leaving? 3 nights before the Rumble, Kurt Angle faced JBL in a last man standing match. That match ended in a draw after both men blasted each other with a chair. JBL booted Kurt Angle in the face, and Angle was holding a chair. Angle then rebounded with a chair shot and ended in a draw, which is a good callback to the Mankind and Rock match in '99. It was then revealed to be Big Show's idea to book both of the men in that match. This match was fun as hell. It flew by quickly and there wasn't really a dull moment. Big Show kicked JBL's ass in the beginning while Angle watched on from the outside. Angle did get involved, but at this point it was mostly Big Show who had the advantage. It wasn't until Angle blasted Big Show with a monitor that it became a glorified singles match. Big Show went through the announce table and JBL and Angle had a normal match. The two fought for a few before that Big Show came back and regained the advantage. Big Show was on fire until Angle hit a chop block and JBL hit a clothesline from hell. You know, like Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch's finisher, that one. Angle then hit a German on JBL and then he hit the Angle Slam on Big Show. JBL booted Angle and he went for the cover himself, but the Giant kicked out. Big Show recovered and hit the choke slam. JBL's foot was on the rope, so the match still continued. Bradshaw crawled to the ringside area where Big Show speared JBL through the barricade. Meanwhile, Kurt Angle is playing possum, and Big Show walked into a steel chair shot. Angle, however, failed to knock down the Big Show, and he was given a flapjack onto the chair, or at least that's what they said, because it didn't really look like a flapjack onto the chair. The Big Show went for the cover, but then Mark Jindrak pulled the ref from out the ring, which led to a brawl between Angle's proteges and the Big Show. Meanwhile, the Cabinet came out and threw JBL into the ring, who then hit the clothesline from hell on Kurt Angle for the victory. Once again, JBL escaped defeat. That's how it always was with him. I thought he did a great job as champion. Big Show was fuming while the Cabinet were celebrating. Overall, it was one fun match. I really enjoyed it, and I kind of used to underestimate just how good it was. Backstage, Carlito asked Batista to sign a petition to kick Theodore Long out of SmackDown. Batista refused to sign it, and Carlito bit into his apple. Batista then mentioned that he stuck a flagpole in La Resistance's ass. What? Carlito backed off, and Batista entered the room to choose his Royal Rumble number. Meanwhile, Bischoff and Long were arguing about the title match that just happened. Bischoff then said that Evolution is banned from Triple H's match, and Batista then said that he'll give Triple H the news. Batista was really happy that Evolution was banned from ringside, because, you know. The next match was for the World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H defended the gold against the legend killer Randy Orton. You guys already know about how this one came to be, but right now let me talk about how Orton got to this point. The legend killer was the last man eliminated from the Elimination Chamber, and the man that eliminated him was Triple H. The next night on Raw, Orton beat Batista in a number 1 contenders match after Triple H accidentally cost Batista the match. That's how it came to be this time around. Orton was in midst of his first face run as the legend killer. This face run wasn't good because it felt like Orton lost his swagger that made him the legend killer. Right before the match, Orton slapped the game. Randy Orton from there was on fire. He had the advantage for about 2 minutes before Triple H fought back. Triple H canceled Orton's RKO and he threw him to the outside. Triple H then targeted Orton's knee after hitting a chop block. From there, the game destroyed the knee and he locked Orton in the figure 4. The hold was locked in for about 2 minutes, which is so damn long before Orton countered it. Like, that lasted 2 minutes. I counted it. Triple H continued to neutralize Orton's knee, but then Orton shoved the game into the Spanish announce table. From there, Orton hit a backbreaker on Triple H and he began his comeback. It was mostly Orton from here on until Orton landed on his head after a failed DDT attempt. Orton suffered a concussion and the ref was later knocked down. Triple H decided to bring in the sledgehammer and destroy Orton's head. Triple H was about to drill Orton's head, but by instinct probably, Orton knocked down Triple H and he continued to look lost. Orton then set his sights on the sledgehammer. Orton did grab it, but Triple H hit a rough clothesline on the legend killer. The game contemplated whether or not to use the sledgehammer, but he decided otherwise as the ref was beginning to recover. Triple H instead hit the pedigree for the victory. Now, the match was kind of entertaining. It could have been better, but it was good for what it was. Like, I did enjoy it. I do think it was a bizarre way for Triple H to win because Orton suffered a concussion, and second of all, this was predictable. Like, why would Orton beat Triple H at the Royal Rumble? Now, for some reason, Orton and Triple H have only had a few classics. One of those matches was the match at No Mercy. I do love that MASH match too, although that wasn't really that great. Nunzio is then shown backstage and he's walking down the aisle when Kurt Angle stole his number. Angle gave Nunzio the opportunity to fight and win back his ball, but he decided otherwise. JBL is then shown celebrating, and I assume he's drunk because he said it. Like, he just said he's drunk. He said he's not sober. Theodore Long then told JBL that he's defending the title at No Way Out. JBL didn't really care, and Teddy Long told him that he's facing the Big Show. He still didn't care, but then he told JBL that he's facing the Big Show in a barbed wire steel cage match. That shut up JBL. I do plan on reviewing No Way Out in a few weeks, because why not? And the main event, the 30-man Royal Rumble match. This one had some funny moments. The first 2 entrants were Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. Man, this is so sad to see because this was Eddie's last Rumble and it just hurts to know what happened. The 2 wrestled for a bit before number 3 came out. It was the Tough Enough winner, Daniel Puder. Puder grabbed a mic and announced that everyone is about to witness history. He also said that he's going to be the first Tough Enough champion to win the Royal Rumble. Eddie and Chris decided to team up and kick his ass. Benoit and Eddie gave him some of the hardest chops you'll ever hear, especially Benoit. Those chops were literally knife edged. The duo continued to kick his ass before number 4, Hardcore Holly, came out. Look at him. He was waiting for this moment all day. It felt like Christmas for Hardcore. He chopped the hell out of Puder and the trio traded turns in chopping the Tough Enough winner. Hardcore then hit him in the groin and he gave him the Alabama Slammer before throwing him out. While the Hurricane made his way out to the ring, Guerrero and Benoit threw Hardcore out. The 2 continued to team up and eventually Eventually, both men tried to eliminate each other. Following that, there was no partnership between the two. Slowly, the ring began to fill up, and Eric Bischoff randomly came out trying to support the Raw superstars. Then Teddy Long came out and he tried to rally the SmackDown stars. Once Chris Jericho and Luther Reigns entered the Rumble, there was SmackDown versus Raw. They brawled and it was so fun, but then number 13 came out. It was a Raw superstar, but neither the Raw or SmackDown superstars liked him. It was Muhammad Hassan. He walked slowly to the ring while the guys stopped fighting. Suddenly, everyone in the ring surrounded him and they all ganged up on him. 8-on-1. And they handed him to Rey Mysterio, who proceeded to hit the 619 on him. They then grabbed him and threw him over that top rope. That is it for Hassan. They hated him. They absolutely despised him. Hassan, a few minutes later, attacked Scotty 2 Hotty, who wasn't seen from there on. Later on, Booker T performed a spin-a-rooney, but then he was pushed out by Rey Mysterio. Eddie Guerrero took notice, and he pulled the rope from under him, and he was out. Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas had a mini World's Greatest Tag Team reunion, but seconds later, Edge eliminated Shelton. Meanwhile, Simon Dean entered at number 18, and he began exercising next to the ring. He couldn't have prepared backstage. While Simon Dean was preparing, Edge eliminated Eddie Guerrero. Simon Dean continued to exercise, doing squats and other stuff, and Shawn Michaels entered the Rumble. Simon Dean was squatting in the ring, and Shawn took notice and threw him out. Oh, and I think he was wearing headphones. He was exercising in the middle of the damn Royal Rumble. While Eddie Guerrero left the ring, the fans chanted for him. And it's such a shame. He was seconds away from having a confrontation with HBK. So close. Taz, meanwhile, was annoying JR, asking him to utter some of his famous quotes. Kurt Angle entered next, and he delivered Germans and belly-to-bellies to anyone in his way. He then hit Angle slams on both Dupree and Edge. He then attempted it on Shawn Michaels, but HBK countered and attempted the Sweet Chin Music. Angle blocked it and locked in the ankle lock. Kurt Angle evaded the ankle lock, and he hit a Sweet Chin Music on the Olympic gold medalist to send him right out of the Royal Rumble. Man, I bet you Nunzio would have done better. The coach entered at number 21. He went straight after Chris Benoit, which is so damn stupid. Also, he's wearing pants that have his name right on his ass. What the hell? JR said that too. Meanwhile, Kurt Angle entered the ring and he eliminated Shawn Michaels. He then blasted him with a steel steps, which busted him open. Angle then locked HBK in the ankle lock. The officials restrained Angle away, and this was the beginning of the HBK and Kurt Angle feud. A few minutes later, Jericho threw out Rene Dupree and he mocked him. John Cena entered at number 24 and he was wearing that Ruck Fools t-shirt. Cena knocked down everyone and he eliminated Viscera. Snitsky entered next, and you all know what happened. He picked a fight with Paul London, and that led to London getting beheaded. Oh my god, he evaded the first clothesline, but the second just flat out destroyed him. Kane then entered and gave everyone a chokeslam. Kane then threw out Jindrak, and the coach blasted Kane. Why is this guy such an idiot? Batista entered at number 28 and he eliminated Snitsky. He forced him out of the Royal Rumble, and then Batista fought with Kane. Batista gave him a Batista bomb, and Batista then threw out Y2J. Captain Charisma Christian entered at number 29. Christian wasn't alone, as his problem solver Tyson Tomko came out. Christian went straight after Cena, and Rey Mysterio meanwhile hit the 619 on Kane. Cena then FU'd Kane out of the Rumble, and he and Rey formed a small partnership. The Nature Boy Ric Flair entered at number 30. Flair and Batista teamed up, and they eliminated the coach, who lasted a bit too long. How long did he last? 15 minutes? If so, he lasted longer than Kurt Angle, so there's that. They also eliminated Christian, and we were down to 6. Benoit was then thrown out by Ric Flair, and Flair decided to throw out Batista, but he failed miserably. Edge and Rey would dropkick Batista, and Edge then threw out Flair. And we were down to the final 4. Batista, John Cena, Rey Mysterio, and Edge. This was the perfect final 4 that they could have for this match, because these guys were rising stars. These are the guys that WWE built up during 2005, so this was the perfect final 4. Rey Mysterio hit the 619 on Edge, but he was eliminated after Edge had an unexpected spear on him. Edge then went after Cena and Batista, but he was thrown out, and we were down to 2. John Cena and Batista. I think this was supposed to be Orton and Cena, but Orton didn't succeed as a face. The two fought back and forth, but then Batista attempted a Batista bomb. He threw himself and Cena over the top rope, and they landed right at the same time. Oh my god, they were so lucky that they landed at the same time. The Raw refs raised Batista's hand, while the SmackDown refs raised Cena's hand. This led to a very pissed off Mr. McMahon coming out to the ring. He threw his blazer on the ground and he entered the ring, but once he was in the ring, he fell awkwardly. Oh my god, he tore one of his quads. I know it was painful for him, but this was just so funny to see, because he walked all the way down to the ring all pissed off, but then he just sat there. later, I think he tore his other quad backstage. He sat there in the ring while both men threw each other over that top rope. McMahon then called for the match to be restarted, and both men tried to hit their finishers on one another. It was then Batista who successfully hit the spine buster, and he threw out Cena to win the 2005 Royal Rumble. Damn, this was one of the best Royal Rumble pay-per-views ever, and for me, it's one of the funniest, because there was some funny-ass stuff during the Royal Rumble match. The opener was good, but if it wasn't for the second half, then I wouldn't have liked it, to be honest. Like, I didn't really like the first half. It was kind of slow. The casket match wasn't good, but it was something you could watch. Like, you could just watch it. The WWE title match for me was loads of fun. It had one of the first barricade spots in WWE. The World title match had a good story in it. Orton gained momentum and adrenaline, but then he suffered a concussion, and that was what cost him the match. And the Royal Rumble match is probably my favorite ever. It didn't have a dull moment because there were some excellent guys in there throughout the match. Like, the beginning had Eddie and Chris. The middle had Y2J, Edge, Rey Mysterio, and the end had all the top guys, John Cena, Batista, Shawn Michaels. It was good. It had excellent guys throughout the match. There wasn't a dull moment at all. And the best moment of the night was when Vince tore his quad. That was so damn hilarious because think about it. He walked into the ring all pissed off, but then he had to sit down. It was painful, and I didn't even realize he tore his quads until I found it on the internet. Like, he was sitting there all angry, and it didn't even look like he was in pain. I heard he refused help to the back, and he tore his second quad there. And that's it for this video. Make sure you hit an FU on the like button, and perhaps a Batista bomb on the subscribe button. Peace, I'm out.